Welcome to GH Soap Opera Today, your place for the latest drama, updates, and spoilers from General Hospital. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss the action. GH's lethal enforcer faces Camp Crystal Lake's deadliest killer. Pick your Jason. After meeting Kane Hodder, the legendary Jason Voorhees actor, Steve Burton introduced Port Charles to Camp Crystal Lake. General Hospital fans have spent decades watching Jason Morgan deal with mafia battles, hostage situations, and enough violence to level half of Port Charles. But this week, during his break, Steve Burton pitted him against Jason Voorhees, who has undoubtedly survived more carnage. Burton shared a fun little crossover moment online after meeting Friday the 13th veteran Kane Hodder, and the internet quickly turned it into a full-contact argument over who would truly come away standing. Key takeaways: Steve Burton met Friday the 13th legend Kane Hodder. Burton joked with fans about who would win in a fight, Jason Morgan or Jason Voorhees. Hodder portrayed Jason Voorhees in 4 consecutive Friday the 13th films. Fans largely supported Jason Morgan in the comments. The surprising crossover delighted horror and GH fans both. The shot has fueled requests for Burton to feature in a Friday the 13th film. 2 different kinds of Jason finally collide. Burton uploaded the shot on Instagram with the comment, "Jason versus Jason. The perfect matchup. Great to meet at Kane Hodder 13 on Friday the 13th. Who wins?" The image itself appeared to depict 2 men called Jason settling unfinished business in a parking lot outside a warehouse. Burton and Hodder stood inches apart in an exaggerated face-off posture, both engaged in the character's signature silent stare. For horror enthusiasts, this was not your average Jason. Kane Hodder is widely regarded as the ultimate Jason Voorhees, having played the slasher legend in 4 consecutive Friday the 13th films, starting with The New Blood in 1988 and ending with Jason X in 2001. Hodder's Jason felt heavier, meaner, and more physically violent than previous iterations, thanks in part to his experience as a stuntman who approached the job like it was physical theater with a machete. He also became part of horror convention legend over time. Hodder did an infamous full-body burn stunt in Part 7, invented the sleeping bag kill that fans still talk about decades later, and even refused to let Jason kick a puppy in Jason Takes Manhattan because he believed the character would not harm innocent animals. That seemingly insignificant detail may be the most weirdly wholesome item ever associated with Crystal Lake. Fans immediately backed Stone Cold. The comments section quickly transformed into a full-fledged loyalty test, and most GH fans did not hesitate for a single second. One viewer remarked, "Always Jason Morgan," and another added, "Stone Cold all day." Several admirers felt that Burton's Jason would crush nearly anybody, with one follower saying, "Jason Morgan is undefeated." The funniest part was watching soap fans and horror fans merge in the same comment thread, as if 2 whole different fandom planets had suddenly shared air. One fan admitted, "As a GH and horror fan, I love this crossover," while another begged Burton to switch franchises. "Steve, I would like to see you in the Friday the 13th movie." Honestly, after decades of Jason Morgan surviving explosions, sniper attacks, and frozen meat locker fights, he probably would fit in just fine at Camp Crystal Lake. And on social media, Burton unintentionally created the world's strangest, but oddly ideal crossover event: Port Charles versus Crystal Lake. General Hospital spoilers: Lulu seeks Britt. Is it a dirty catfight over Rocco? General Hospital spoilers and updates reveal that once Dante Falconeri finishes reaming Lulu Spencer, she will go hunting for Britt Westbourne. She already knows from Nathan West, alias Cassius Faison, and Rocco Falconeri that he was down at the pier saving Britt and Jason Morgan. Lulu just broke up with Nathan because he infringed on her motherly decision-making and wanted them both to escape Port Charles, and most likely Charlotte Cassadine as well. He warned her, and rightfully so, that Ross Cullum was dangerous, and if he discovered Rocco was a shooter, he would kill him. Her use of the phrase, "you are removed from the situation," implies a breakup, albeit she may reconcile with him later. When Dante chastises her for keeping him out of the dangerous scenario at the dock and flatly lying about what happened to their son's hand, she'll transfer blame. Lulu's pride and refusal to admit when she's wrong will most certainly hinder a reconciliation with Nathan, which is just as well, but she'll lash out at Britt, blaming her of putting Rocco in danger. Despite Rocco's allegation that he followed her to the dock on his own, Lulu goes after Britt to blame her for what occurred down there. He told Britt and his mother, and he shot the gun Jason had knocked out of the way to save their lives. He couldn't just let Cullum club Jason to death, especially since Britt was already unconscious on the pier. Rocco witnessed the entire incident, including Cullum breaking the 2 vials of her medication. Of course, he had no idea what it was at the time, and he was also present when Lucas Jones met Britt to give her the vials. So, in her infinite wisdom, Lulu concludes that Britt is to blame for the entire mess and goes after her. Will there be a physical catfight? Do not be surprised if there is. Lulu is enraged after Dante humiliates her, and she can only presume that he heard the truth from Britt, despite he also clashes with Nathan for not including him. She undoubtedly wants to get Britt in trouble at work, so she tracks her down at General Hospital. As enraged as Lulu is, this could turn into a down and dirty catfight over Rocco, since she believes Rocco is a child who couldn't have decided to follow Britt on his own. It won't be a beautiful scene if Britt has to call security or even the cops on the out-of-control crazy mama bee. At least Cullum, who has been released, is no longer a patient to watch the chaos. General Hospital spoilers. Brennan becomes Carly's attic prisoner, while Valentine hides Jack for Nina. According to General Hospital teasers, Nina Reeves will face yet another problem. Nina thought quickly and grabbed the syringe she'd left under Wiley Corintho's toy truck, which resulted in a paralytic injection for Jack Brennan. Nina was able to stop Brennan and Valentine Cassidy's fight over Valentine's weapon, but she now has a crippled WSB agent in her hands. What is Nina planning to do next, and will Valentine make a brave step to support her? Valentine will question Nina about what was in the syringe in the May 11th episode after noticing Brennan's incapacitation right in front of him. Nina may have to admit that Willow Kane has been drugging Drew Kane with a paralytic that simulates a stroke. Perhaps Nina would explain that Willow blackmailed her into assisting, but she would help even if she wasn't compelled to. Nina and Valentine will always have one thing in common: they would do everything for their daughters. Because Jen Sidwell is the one who is providing the drug, Nina may spill all of this information and hope Valentine recognizes that she is involved in an out-of-control situation. The GH writers just inserted something intriguing in the conversation that could be a hint to Brennan's latest story development. Nina discussed his weekly dose with Drew, so we now have an idea of how long Brennan's paralysis will remain. Brennan appears to be bedridden for a week, but Nina may argue that they cannot keep him at Willow's house, where the children could come across him. Willow has additional caregivers for Drew, as well as office personnel who come and go. Valentine may opt to take Brennan back to Carly Spencer's home and conceal him in the attic for the time being. Can you imagine Carly's response if Valentine returns home and reveals Brennan is now a paraplegic prisoner? We know Carly will shortly quiz Nina, so she will want to hear her side of the tale. Nina may struggle to explain things without revealing Willow's horrific behavior to Carly, but we'll see how it all plays out. Of course, Nina and Valentine will have to decide what to do after Brennan's dose wears off. Brennan could acquire another one if they need more time, but they could also find a means to compel his silence. General Hospital spoilers predict Carly may become entangled in all of this and suspect the truth behind Drew's stoke, so keep tuned. Did General Hospital's Liz and Dante go too far in protecting Rocco? Liz's confession transformed an emotional family occasion into a potential legal and ethical calamity. Elizabeth entered the Peace PD at Friday's General Hospital and nonchalantly detonated a legal and ethical grenade in the midst of Dante's probe. The moment Liz linked Rocco's injury to the shooting, the story stopped feeling like typical soap opera and began sounding like something that would get people called into administrative offices. The episode concentrated on Dante's emotional reaction to discovering the truth, but behind the surface was the very real question of patient privacy and whether Liz exceeded a line she should not have. Key takeaways: Liz exposed confidential medical information related to the shooting inquiry. Dante's dual roles as police commissioner and Rocco's father exacerbated the situation. Liz admitted that she didn't disclose Rocco's injury because she was doing a favor for a friend. The incident highlighted uncomfortable questions about medical ethics, HIPAA violations, and confidentiality. GH concentrated on Dante's anguish rather than the potential legal consequences. The problem with what Liz revealed the question isn't whether Elizabeth meant good. Of course she did. The issue is that she divulged protected medical information related to an ongoing criminal investigation, which violates HIPAA. She informed Dante that Rocco had been treated and described his injuries as akin to a rifle slide bite. This is not a vague issue or a worried parent talk. That is precise medical data of investigative relevance. The show actually made the situation look even shakier by having Liz openly admit she never reported the injury because she was doing a favor for a friend. GH may not have intended viewers to stop and think about hospital protocol, but once Liz said that out loud, the scene stopped sounding noble and started sounding a little improvised, as soap cover-ups often do 5 minutes before disaster arrives. Where things get complex is with Dante himself. He is not merely the police commissioner looking into the shooting. He's also Rocco's father. This creates an unusual overlap in which viewers may believe Liz was only notifying a father about his minor child. Except Dante was actively investigating a criminal case at the same time. Why the scene worked regardless, oddly enough, the legal ambiguity may be precisely why the scene worked so well emotionally. Nobody in that room was thinking like a hospital administrator going over policy manuals. Liz considered protecting a terrified adolescent. Dante was thinking of his son crumbling under the weight of shame. The situation resembled two fatigued adults recognizing that a child's life had already begun to spin out of control, rather than process. The show also wisely avoided making Liz into some sort of villain for what she'd done. Instead, the focus remained on Dante's anguish. You could virtually see the instant his complete grasp of the shooting dawned on him. This emotional focus kept viewers engaged in the human aspect of the narrative, even while the legal side discreetly began tap dancing in the background, wearing steel-toed boots. Port Charles has endured mob fights, memory transfers, illegal medical experiments, and enough ethical infractions to keep a whole licensing board awake till retirement. But this one feels different. General Hospital spoilers. Nina's mistake allows Drew to send an SOS to Kai. According to General Hospital spoilers, Nina Reeves was about to administer a silencio injection to Drew Kane when she became distracted and placed the syringe on a table in full view of anyone who stopped by. Will Nina's misstep result in Willow Corinthos losing everything? Let's go down this potential scandal. Was Willow ruined by Nina? Willow, ironically, pushed Nina to give Drew a shot since she had congressional business to do. This is the second time she has asked, and she is using the leverage as blackmail. She also told Nina about her shady agreement with Jack Brennan, in which she obtains information against Drew so that he cannot retaliate for the shooting or locked-in syndrome. In exchange, Willow supplies Jack with additional funds for the WSB. Willow also urged Nina to keep Kai Taylor away from Drew because he knows Willow shot him. Drew now knows Kai is aware of this and will make an effort to contact with him. Kai knows about Willow before Nina could inject Drew. Valentine Cassadine called with a job offer, causing Nina to forget to give Drew his dose. Where does this leave us? We expect Drew will try to reach out to Kai, who is always eager to do the right thing. Kai is concerned about Drew because Willow attempted to kill him and is keeping an eye on her. How could Kai save Drew? We doubt he will stand up after a single missed shot. But perhaps he could issue an SOS? Will Kai catch Willow? Willow cannot be charged with shooting Drew owing to double jeopardy. However, she could face charges for drugging him to death. If Kai discovers this, he may go directly to Dante Falconeri with the truth. General Hospital's Nina Reeves and Drew Kane are foes. The May sweeps are in full gear, and we anticipate that numerous stories will come to a startling end. Do you believe Drew's drugging will be one of them? Drew became a despised PC resident, so it would be interesting to see if his ordeal redeems him in the eyes of his detractors. Eden McCoy of GH opens her heart in an emotional Mother's Day tribute. Eden McCoy captivated readers with a touching message about love, sorrow, and the memories her mother had left behind. Jocelyn has spent the last week on General Hospital fighting for her life after Cassius dragged her into one of the show's most violent brawls in recent memory. But away from the pandemonium on screen, Eden McCoy spent Mother's Day sharing something much quieter and more personal. In a heartbreaking social media message, the actress discussed her mother's death. Key takeaways: Eden McCoy presented heartbreaking messages written by her late mother. On Mother's Day, the General Hospital star pondered on her pain and missing her mother. McCoy stated that rediscovering the messages hits differently now. Fans and soap stars filled the comments with encouragement. Several notes had poignant handwritten messages from her mother. McCoy posted a series of photographs on Instagram with a profoundly personal message about unearthing small, encouraging notes her mother used to leave for her. "I can't remember where she would put these strange, amazing printouts," she said, wondering if the notes had been tucked into lunches or scattered over her bedroom throughout the years. She described them as incredible words written by incredible people that were given to me by an incredible mother. The photographs featured multiple tattered cards and printouts laid across a blanket in the sun, each containing quotes and handwritten messages from her mother. One message read, "This is not a letter, but my arms around you for a brief moment." Another contained an A. Milne quote about friendship and parting, with the words, "I love you so much, so proud of you" beneath it. One particularly moving card said, "Watch your ideas, they become words. Watch your words, they become acts." At the bottom, her mother added, "People will forget what you said and did, but they will never forget how you made them feel." McCoy admits the stack of notes hit harder now. Fans rally around McCoy, she wrote on Can We Do. She expressed hope that sharing the notes might bring solace to someone else on Mother's Day. "I needed these notes today, and this is an attempt to channel my mother's magic to you. Happy Mother's Day to all mothers, both physical and non-physical," she said. The message instantly garnered praise from soap stars and fans who knew exactly what she was saying. Tamara Braun, a former GH and current The Young and the Restless star, wrote, "Sending you so much love, Eden," while Rick Hurst simply dropped a string of hearts. Fans flooded the comments with stories about their own mothers, loss, and the simple things we hold onto after someone dies. One follower wrote, "These are so beautiful, mostly not just what they said, but that your mom wanted you to have them." Another shared, "I lost my mother when I was 25, and there's never a day that I don't miss her." And someone else called the notes, "Let her hugs from your mom." General Hospital spoilers. Jen's plans to keep Brennan locked in prisoner? General Hospital spoilers suggest that Jen Sidwell may intend to keep Jack Brennan locked in for the inevitable future. Sidwell is the brains behind the medications that Willow Kane has been feeding her husband, which have left him crippled. Will he determine that Brennan suffers the same fate? Let's break down this intriguing plot surprise. As fans are aware, on the Friday, May 8th episode, Nina Reeves accidentally stabbed the WSB head in the back with Drew's medication. She was desperately trying to stop Valentine Cassadine from shooting Brennan after they got into a heated argument on Friday's show. Nina was meant to give Drew his daily medicine dose, but she became sidetracked when Brennan arrived at Willow Kane's door, and then Valentine appeared. Brennan is shown in a hospital bed in the General Hospital weekly preview, so medical workers will have questions about him from May 11th to 15th. Brennan's condition may easily be dismissed as a stroke because he lacks an advocate in Port Charles. Sure, the case may appear hazy to the doctor who treats Brennan, especially because the WSB agent appears to have had a stroke. Still, it will be equally perplexing that Brennan's stroke occurred at Drew's home, a man who appears to have the same symptoms as Brennan. However, if no relatives, friends, or allies ask questions, everyone may brush it aside. Carly Spencer is still unhappy with Brennan over the Jocelyn Jacks WSB recruitment, and she will be desperate to protect Valentine, so she will not step up to help either. Sidwell will undoubtedly become involved on a higher level, as he is the one who provided this awful injection. The WSB should want to look into all of this, but given Brennan's health, Ross Cullum will be in charge, and he will most likely follow Sidwell's directions. Sidwell is featured in the GH trailer saying someone unknown, "We have a mess on our hands," which could refer to Cullum. Thanks for watching GH Soap Opera Today. For more General Hospital updates and spoilers, like, comment, subscribe, and press the bell icon. See you next time.